Today I'm going to show you my meal prep routine for high protein lunches that fill a 7-foot man. I'm using salmon, but you can use chicken, beef, tofu, whatever your preferences or restrictions are. That's gonna be our protein. We don't need this to start yet though. So the backbone of this meal prep is the marinades, particularly for the protein. You can apply these recipes for these marinades to any of the proteins that we mentioned before. I have lemon herb garlic, I have honey soy ginger, and I have a maple Dijon mustard. It helps me at least to stick with whatever I meal prep because it adds some variety to what I'm eating throughout the week, even though it's more or less the same basic components. So the first one that we're gonna do is our lemon herb garlic marinade. First, we're gonna start off with 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So just put that into a bowl. 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Fresh lemon, pre-packaged lemon juice, it doesn't matter. Whatever works. 2 cloves of minced garlic. I just use garlic from the jar. I'm trying to make this easy for myself because I do this every single week. And then we have our dry ingredients. You can kind of just do these to taste if you want. Put those in there. And then you're just gonna take a whisk and just give it a good whisk. Just kind of get that all combining. We'll give it another whisk before we actually put it all together. We're moving on to our next marinade, the honey soy ginger marinade. 3 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce, 4 teaspoons of honey. You can do 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon. Next up on the list is 2 teaspoons of olive oil or sesame seed oil. About 2 teaspoons of pure agua, otherwise known as water. And then we have kind of our pseudo dry ingredients. We have about a teaspoon of fresh grated ginger. I recommend seriously doing fresh grated. Ginger root just looks like this. It can sit on your counter for weeks. It'll be fine. You can cut it, it'll seal up. It's also good for tummy aches. And mix it up, stir it up. Just get a baseline kind of consistency going with it. And you can set that aside. We will come back to it. By the way, this has all been for 2 salmon fillets that are about 4 ounces. 2 tablespoons of maple Dijon. 4 teaspoons of maple syrup, 2 teaspoons of olive oil. I forgot to prep it, so we're just gonna kind of eyeball it real quick. Our garlic, if I can get it in there. A pinch of salt and pepper. These marinades go far. They're incredibly flavorful. I have a tiny whisk, look at that. Ain't that adorable? It's so little, especially in my hands. I mean, look at that thing. Look at how tiny that is. I feel like a giant. All right, here we go. Mixing it up. Good, give it a whiff. That smells good out the gate. So just to recap, we have lemon herb garlic, honey soy ginger, maple Dijon. So I usually eat this about 3 times a week. So I usually prep 2 weeks out. So 1 week we'll cook today, and then the other week we'll freeze for next week, and then I don't have to do this next week, I just have to cook it up. I like to use just these little 1/4 gallon Ziploc bags. Take the bag, give us a quick stir, and we're gonna do about half of these in each bag. Because you don't need much, because it's gonna marinate in there. Garlic in there in the bottom. Rinse and repeat for the other marinades. Protein. So again, I'm using salmon. You can use chicken, you can use beef, you can use whatever. I will post the recipe for these marinades down below. Apply it to whatever your protein is. So I just get my salmon from Costco. I'm a simple man. I like Kirkland. But here's the lemon herb, and I just take these each, and I just throw them flat down in there, flat down onto the marinade. You see that? I just put them right on to that marinade, and I just kind of give it a slight massage. And what I do is I slightly seal it up, and I just kind of push that air out as best I can. And I finish sealing it. These will keep in the freezer for like up to 3 weeks. While those are marinating, we are going to make our sides. I have 2 components to the sides. The first is quinoa. Follow the packaging instructions, but for the 3 meals that I make a week, I usually find doing about a cup of dried quinoa, 2 cups of water, cook it up, salt and pep. It's good to go. Now I like to do vegetables as my other component. So I'm currently almost through this bag of, what is this, root vegetables, roasted root vegetables. And here's some other vegetables for like sheet pan cooking. I like my vegetables to be simple. I don't even use the oven for this part. I just toss like 3 cups of vegetables in the air fryer, and I just put a cup into each meal. Simple. This said 400, 15 to 16 minutes, geez. These guys ain't playing with the heat. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how to cook your protein. Each protein would be a little bit different on its directions on how to cook it, but for the salmon, it's 375 for about 12 minutes because you'll reheat it for lunch later or you'll eat it cold. It's okay if it's a little undercooked. You can also cook it longer if you want, but I prefer mine a bit undercooked because I have an air fryer at my workplace and I just pop it in there to cook it up. What I do with my protein, because I don't like to do dishes, I take this sheet pan, piece of aluminum foil, and the fish, and I take it and I just place it right in the center. I drizzle over the marinade a little bit more. And then now we're done with that bag. What I do is I kind of fold it up into a bit of a boat. You don't need much, but I leave it open because I want that skin to get a little crispy. And then I just work down the line guide. And again, these go into the oven at 375 for about 12 to 15 minutes. I usually rotate them halfway through. So I'm gonna pop those in and then we'll come back and plate our actual meals for lunch. Here is our vegetables. Oh, there it is, there's that quinoa. I mean, doesn't that just look good? There they are. And you can just pop it right into your tray. And I'm just gonna let it sit there open to cool. That one. And again, what I do is whenever I get into work, because we have an air fryer, is I will take this out, pop it in the air fryer and let it toast up for about 7 minutes or so. I've eaten it cold as well. It's very good. So your choice, your preference. Like I mentioned, we've got the quinoa, a scoop of that each. And I like to kind of make like a bed for it. Again, a very, very, very filling dish. Our veggies, all right. Again, this is easy. Just do a scoop on each one. I guess I could have done more veggies. From scratch, if you're doing this, I think this takes you about an hour. If you have these marinated prior and they're frozen and you're just taking them out and thawing them and then cooking them up, baking them, basically starting from not the marinades, but from the cooking part, this is all but 20 minutes to do. It takes no time at all. So high protein, high fiber, very nutritious. I find them tasty. Again, if you don't like salmon or fish, you can swap out to chicken or beef or whatever you want. Those marinades work on anything. That is what a 7 foot tall man eats for lunch to stay full. See you later.